Yeah, good. How you doing? What's going on? Welcome to Daily Fuel. My name is Bobby. I am the host of this group, The Spiritual Artist. And today is Saturday. I want to bring something back that I used to do a few months ago. On Saturdays, I used to do the "So and So is awesome" thing, and I want to do. I want to start doing that again, a little differently. I want to rename it. What I used to call it was called Breakdown in my old group, and I would break down how different YouTube videos or video companies worked and stuff. Then I did it about artists, but I just talked about how they were awesome. And but I think what I want to do is start doing that again, except do a breakdown again of like how that artist has created a life for themselves through their art, because that's what we're trying to do here. So if you're watching in the replay, then hello, replay people. How you doing? Let me know that you're here. Hashtag replay people. Hashtag replay person. Hashtag replayer. Make one up. I like the replays. I like the hashtags. Make them up for me, because when I see a cool one, I go, hey, that's cool. And if you're here live, like Mikey, hey, Saturday, and Robin is here with her paper clips. Hello, Robin. Hello, Mikey. How are you? If you're here live, then, well, you guys already did. You're the only two. So, okay, but if you're also here live and I don't see you, then do me a favor and start commenting. Let's see. I'm going to... Oh, yeah, paper clips today. That's cool. I like that. So, hang on. I got to turn this off. All right. Now, 3 people are watching, and probably one of them is me. Jason Perez is watching with you. Hi, Jason. How you doing, man? You can comment if you can. If you can't, then hello. I'll assume you're saying hello back to me, and I'll say, hello back to you. So, okay, here we go. Let's, it's 2 minutes. Let's get started. Serendipity. I like that word, serendipity. I don't know if a lot of people use it, if it's a common word. I don't know. It was a movie. I think I saw it once, but that's not what I'm talking about. When things happen that are sort of a happy coincidence, I think that's serendipity. Something happened that you weren't expecting, or like it just worked out, that's serendipity. And I think that most normal people see things like that as luck, or, oh, what a coinkydink, And, but we people in the know are spiritual people. We understand what coincidence and serendipity are. They are spirit working for us and us allowing it so that it just kind of works out. And we know from experience, hopefully, that when we are doing our energy work and the work that we are supposed to be doing, and not supposed to be doing, but the work that we want to be doing to allow that allowing to happen, that it does happen, and we can kind of not control it, not control the how, but we can see that the work that I did allowed that thing to happen, not made that thing happen. It's like, sometimes I wish I had like lightning bolts come out of my fingers, like pew, like I could just do it. That doesn't work. I've tried. Nothing, but we have this power to allow, and when we do allow, when we have less resistance, especially in certain topics, it happens a lot, right? For example, I have noticed serendipity. I usually use the word serendipity when it comes to like one-off things, and I'll give you a real-life example. You probably know I do a lot of video editing. So when I started video editing, I started it by the way I got into doing video editing was I had a kid. And she was really cute, so I got a camera and I started filming her. And then I had another kid and I was filming him. And I would take all that film and I'd be like, it's kind of boring just watching the film right from, not film, but the videos right from the video camera. So I had a Mac, I was a designer, and I started learning how to do video editing. And some funny things would happen. Like I would take a song and I'd lay it on the audio track, and then I'd start taking video clips and just putting them down, and things in the song would line up to the things in the video. Like, you know that thing where they say, like, if you watch The Wizard of Oz and listen to that Pink Floyd album, like, things line up. Like, that's serendipity, and also it helps if you're high. But this would actually line up. Like the music would swell, and then it would hit right on the hard part, just as my kid, like, jumped off the thing or something, And then I the first time that happened, I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then the second time it happened, it was also amazing. And the 100th time it happened, it is still equally amazing, except I realized I have like no resistance to that happening in video editing. That not only does it happen when I'm editing family stuff, but it happens with my business videos. It happens with client videos that I'm making. Just I have now expected that when I go into editing, I'm going to lay things out and Source is going to do most of the editing for me. And it's just going to bang, 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 land right on the beat, and I'm good to go. And it happens all the time. So that's like one off, but I have begun recently realizing that serendipity, the universe, is a lot more powerful than video editing, right? So it has a long game that it's been working with me, that because I'm in it, I didn't see it, but now that I'm seeing things popping up, I'm going like, hey, that was that thing. And I can see it, because months or years have gone by now. So I've said this before, a couple Daily Fuels ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. I was saying that sometimes we have this vision. We want to go from here to here. We have this thing we're moving towards, but we don't like it that sometimes things pop up out of order. Like we want the first thing, and then we want the second thing, and then we want the third thing. But the universe is like, all right, here's the first thing. Here's the fifth thing now. And you're like, the heck is this? I don't need this. I didn't ask for this. And then all of a sudden, by the time the second, third, and fourth thing pop up, all of a sudden we realize that thing that we didn't want is the fifth thing. And we're like, oh, I can use this now. I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was garbage, except it's now the most important piece. So to me, here's a real life example. Years ago, I started a project with my wife called Be a Rockstar, and we would sit and talk and film each other talking, and we were making like a reality show. This was a while back. This is going back like 2008, 2009, 2010, and before like vlog YouTube channels became popular. And then I was kind of vlogging and making other things, but it wasn't really a project that we saw going anywhere, and it wasn't really fitting in our everyday life, but it was a really good project to try, and it helped me establish myself on Facebook and in business as a video expert. And then I took that and I then opened up my old group teaching entrepreneurs how to do video stuff. And then I was like, this group isn't what I want to be doing, and I closed that group. But a good thing from that group was that I created the concept of Daily Fuel, doing these lives every day. And then when I opened up this group, I started doing the Daily Fuel again, and I realized how powerful this is for me and for us as a group. And so it's like I started with that Be a Rockstar thing, and then it went to becoming a video expert, and then I've gotten clients from that, and then I opened up the old group, and now I'm doing this. And it's like one thing led to another, and even though it's like something, I put it on the shelf and I put it away, it's like it led to new things. And then the second part of it is that there are things that I've done in the past that I realized that even though they didn't work out back then, or they didn't really go anywhere back then, I still have them, and they're still a viable thing, and I'm seeing that they fit in now. It's like I did number 5 10 years ago, and I was just like, why did I do this? This was such a waste of time. And I'd be like, right? Like, why did I do this? Except now, fast forward to today, and I was like, man, I really need to do this thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, I did that already. I have that. It was done. I did it, and I need it now. And it's like, look at that. I didn't know that I needed it back then. I need it now. And to me, that's kind of a serendipity that I could not have foreseen, but the universe saw it, so, and it put it there. And I get these ideas where it's like I'm doing something with my business now, and the not last night, but the night before, I was going to get gas in the car, and my brain is always going. So I'm driving and I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, all right, I need this kind of intro video, and I need this kind of thing, and I need this kind of thing, and I'm thinking that's 3 things I have to make. Because I have to start from scratch. This is a new idea. I got to start all over, just take everything I've ever done in my life and throw it in the garbage and start from scratch. And then I'm thinking, I was like, or I made that video a while back, and then I realized this didn't really fit right with what I thought I was going to be doing, so I put it on the shelf. And now I looked at it again, and I was like, this is perfect for what I want to do now. And I was like, how did I make a video then for a thing that's perfect for what I'm doing now? I don't understand how I did that, except it's perfect. And it's like, I don't even think that I could have written it better for the thing if I wrote it now, but I didn't. I wrote it then when I didn't even know this thing. It's weird, you know? So I did it already, and, and it's blowing my mind that it's like, okay. So to me, this is all just another reminder to trust the process, have faith in the meantime, what we were talking about yesterday. And the final phrase that I came up with here is that I may not see the big picture, but I'm building this big picture, and I may not see all the pieces, but my higher self does. And turns out it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to leave that one there, and I'm going to go to the comments because I hear them clicking, and I love that sound. Every time you guys do comments while I'm talking, I hear a click over here, and it's you can hear it in the replay. I just love that. I think it's really cool. So thank you guys for being here today. Let's see who we got. We got Robin and Amy is here. Hi, Amy. How are you doing? Thank you, Amy. I always appreciate when you're watching, Amy, because I know that it's late in the UK, so thanks for that. Robin, serendipity happens when we least expect it. Yeah, that's the point of it, I think, is that if we're expecting it, see, that's the thing, right? The universe likes to delight and surprise us, but it can't delight or surprise us if we are insistent on how it does it. It has to do this, it has to be this way, it has to happen on this day, by this time, and this amount, or this place, or this person. And the universe is like, all right, well, that ain't gonna happen because we're doing this, but now you're not getting anything. And but if you allow the serendipity to happen, it just sort of falls into place. And even this kind of goes a little bit with what I was saying yesterday, that sometimes there's a setback, and we see that setback as a failure. So I could have seen that video that I made as a failure. Like, I made this thing, and it's like, but this doesn't really fit with what I think I'm trying to do right now. Darn, I'm such a failure, is what I could have said about myself back then. But all of a sudden now it's like, I need this thing. And it's like, wait a minute, I made that thing. And here it is. Look at that. That's the perfectest thing. Perfectest is not a word, but you know what I mean. So, if you're high, LOL. Yeah, I remember I said that. Haha, if you're high. Robin says, I often have serendipity when people come up to me and ask me a question, and we get to talking, and years later, that's how we became friends. There you go. See, that's another thing. It's like, things just happen. And if we are allowing things to happen, it can lead to other things that we can't even imagine. And it's if you look back on things and just be like, well, how did I get to this point with that person or with this thing or that job or this client or whatever? Usually you didn't plan it, usually. Or if you did plan it, something happened that didn't go according to plan, and yet somehow it still worked out. I think. You were ahead of your time when you and Laura videoed each other. Yeah, it was ahead of its time. Then when I started seeing how people were doing vlogging channels years later, I was like, oh man, I made that way more complicated than it needed to be. I could have just done that. So, and now we're doing this, Robin says, which has led you starting to work much more on your dream project. Yes, it has. You didn't imagine that would happen from this group thing. No, I did not imagine that would happen from this group thing. As I have said, thank you for reminding me of that. As I've said before, I was adamant about never starting a group again, ever, for any reason. And I told Landon, punch me in the face if I ever tell you I want to start a group. And luckily he lives in Colorado and I'm in New York, so punching me in the face is not possible. But still, I was like, no, I'm never doing it again. And then all of a sudden one day I was just like, I was reading this book and it was really helping me. And I was just like, oh my God, I need to start a Facebook group, was the only thing I took from this book. It wasn't about Facebook groups at all, but that was what I took from this book. And when I opened the group and started running this group, and for the first few months, I still didn't have a viable business reason for running this group. There was no reason for running this group that made logical sense other than I needed to start getting it out and seeing what comes out and then looking at it. And that's what's happened. And now the group is a pivotal part of what I have built. which you don't know about yet, but it's coming. And I'm pointing at my whiteboard. Amy says Ray would say breathe at this point. Yes, she would. Thank you. Okay, good. Am I the only one talking? Yes. Thank God you're here. LOL. Amy says, who says I'm watching? Who says I'm watching? I don't know what that means. Mikey says, sometimes it's called being ahead of your time. Some songs I wrote over 40 years ago are right on time now. Yeah, isn't that funny how that happens, right? Yes, Amy says, definitely sometimes things come to you, but out of order, but you're sure appreciate it years or months down the road as they fit into the now scheme of things better. Exactly. That's exactly it, right? Things happen, seem to not make any sense. What was the point of that? And then months or years go by and you're like, oh, that thing is perfect now. And I think that a lot of the resistance that we have in life is that we aren't open to something that's happening now isn't going to... All right. A lot of times resistance seems to be like contrast. Oh, this thing happened. That's a bad thing. I don't like it. My life stinks, right? Or also, this thing is happening and didn't work out. That's bad. My life stinks. Or I have this thing that I really want. It's kind of moving there, but it's taking too long. My life stinks. And that's such linear thinking. It's like I want something now, something has to happen now, and then the next thing has to happen now, and then I get the thing. And it's like, that's how we think, that's how we dream, that's how we wish that it would work. But what if we said instead, okay, this thing is happening and this thing is happening. I don't understand why this thing happened. In the moment, it feels like a not so great thing, but maybe it has some value for me down the road. The biggest value we can come up with is that we learned a lesson from it, Except what if we really can actually use it? What if it's a tool that we got, but except like you're building a house and somebody hands you the hammer, but you haven't made the blueprints yet. Well, now you got a hammer. You're like, what's the point of this hammer? And then you drop it and it hits you in the toe and you think like, oh my God, why did this hammer come into my life? But then suddenly one day you're actually building the house and you have to put a nail in a piece of wood. And you're like, wait a minute, I know, I got a hammer. Right? I mean, that's kind of a silly analogy, but the tools come at the wrong time sometimes. But there it is, and the universe is like, I'm giving it to you now. Just put it in the closet. Put it away. Remember that it's there. I don't know. Robin says, a lot of times we can't see how it might fit into our lives. Did I skip any? No. A lot of times we can't see how it might fit into our life, and for some reason, so we discount it at the time. Exactly. Thank you. And Amy says, lessons we need to learn don't come up in order. They do prepare us for when we will really need it. Exactly. You guys got it. Hello, Bobby. Wi-Fi problem. Just joining. We'll have to rewatch you in the replay. That's Marsha. I don't even have to look because she puts little things on the thing. Thank you. Robin started that with the flowers, and that helped me know that it was her. But now Robin shows up, but Marsha still does not show up. But you put the little, what is that? Like a star burst or something? Whatever it is. Thanks for doing that, Marsha. No problem. You can watch the replay later. Robin says, but later when it matches up with another piece of serendipity, it creates magic, and it's like, whoa, yeah. And then life is good? Okay. It's a bowl of cherries. Okay, yeah, next comment. All right, guys, great. Thank you so much. That was fun. I appreciate that. This was a good wrap-up of everything we talked about, I think, this week. Yeah, tomorrow's Sunday, so I'm going to take the day off and not do Daily Fuel. And I'm not going to get into it. Love and light symbols. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm going to be done, and I'm going to go, and we're going to have sushi tonight, and that's going to be fun. And you know what? Everybody gets a booby prize today. There weren't that many of you, and you all talked, except Jason. Jason, you don't get a booby prize, but everybody else does. I will... I'll talk to... Where'd my mouse go? All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And if you're in the replay, you don't get a booby prize either. I'll talk to you later. Bye.